Well, hello everyone. We got another Kong species dino, and this time it's actually in the shipping box, which is in a different bag with my address on it. Some sort of thing here. It says 2020 October. Oh, that's gotta be a shipping thing. This is a recent order. It's not, has nothing to do with what's inside. But the shipping box does have the logo, Kong species, on both sides. And then we have this nice, I guess, foam, to protect the box, which is protecting the product. It's overpackaged. It's questionable if it's overpackaged. Maybe it is. It's a rigid, I think, a resin model, so that's why they're really cautious about the packaging, because it's quite frail, I assume. Being more like a old garage kit, you know. So, hard resin, not soft resin. So today we have the Sauropelta. Alright, let me look that up. Okay, so let's see here. Here are the other figures from this wave. This is wave number 3, and this is, I guess, is number 4 within that wave. Alright, some QR codes. So I'm going to read some Wikipedia. This is Sauropelta from the genus Nodosaurid, so think Ankylosaurus kind of dinosaurs. Fossilized discoveries in Wyoming, Montana, and possibly Utah, supposedly. In the early 1930s it was first dug out, I guess. Could be between 5 and 6 meters long, and half of that length could have been its tail, which has like 40 vertebrae in the tail alone. And then this thing could have weighed between 1 to 2 tons. Alright, so here's some other things that might come in the future, I assume. So Kong Species Studio, they're the guys that seem to make cool, cartoony looking dinosaurs. Very neat, actually. I unfortunately don't really care for all this extra stuff they had to pay for. But this barcode supposedly is unique to this particular figure. I think you can scan it and then an app or something tracks that you own this figure or something, but I haven't done that to any of my things. The one time I scanned it, it went nowhere, so I think maybe someone already scanned it. It was a used product, but the figure was fine. This again is unnecessary because, well, I guess if you read Chinese, it is necessary. You can learn a little bit about the story behind these, but I don't read Chinese. Look at that. There's actually 2 cards in here by mistake. Just waste of paper, you know. It takes a long time to grow trees, and then it takes a lot of energy to cut them down and make paper. Sound like a hippie. Okay, some nice foam, and that's because it's a brittle polyurethane garage kit kind of plastic. I'm careful about breaking a spike off, snagging the foam, so that's why I'm doing this cautiously. There's nothing ever underneath that black foam, by the way. So here's some images, as you can see behind. It's a pretty mean looking dinosaur. You know, it does look like an Ankylosaurus, but even crazier with all these spikes. So let me get this stuff out of the way. Yeah, so here's a nice image of it next to a human. I mean, I guess it's like the size of a cow, but with a really long tail and a whole mess load of spikes you wouldn't want to mess with. But then again, modern day oxes and stuff like that, you wouldn't want to mess with those horns either. Alright, let me get this out of the way because it's kind of distracting. So these dino rolls, they have these bottoms here, and they have the skeleton, like a cartoon skeleton underneath them, which is kind of neat. So here we go. I have to assume that's a separate piece glued in there. But it looks nice, you know. It looks like this back, you know. It's all spiked and stuff. They get the big spikes there, and it looks like it's embedded in stone. So I think that's really neat. I only wish they wrote what the dinosaur was called. But maybe it's hard to, you know, cast letters or something like that. Although they could have just had a nameplate here, like a lot of the other cartoony animals you can collect. So then you have this like ball looking thing, like a geode in its texture, but it's got these green things and printed on black and white dots. And yeah, goes around. So this one's just standing on all 4 feet, and you can see it's got some gray painted claws, I guess you would call those. And then pretty smooth feet, and then you can see the texturing changes going on. So you got some wrinkles and stuff with some small scales or skin growths or whatever. and then they get bigger and bigger, which is neat. And then you can see these like spikes starting to come out small here, and then they get progressively bigger. So it's really interesting, this animal, how it would just have growth like this, like in the middle of its leg, right? Or the middle of it, the side of it. It's really interesting, the biology of this thing. Like crocodiles have scales, but they don't have spikes coming out of them randomly. Alright, nice textures and stuff like that there. You can see the tail, they progressively get smaller spikes towards the end. I mean, just that tail alone, swinging around, if it's like half the body length, that would mess you up. It's like a hedge trimmer. Alright, this side here, yeah, just great texture variations. And the way they painted it is really nice. It looks like a kind of like a light green, I would say, a mint green, maybe a little whiter there. And then you can see they airbrushed like a darker green here, and they airbrushed like a bluish color on the back of the legs, and then the whole back becomes blue. There's some sort of funky wrinkles underneath the jaw, and some spikes coming out of the jaw as well. And then again, nice texture differences. This is an herbivore, so it's just got like a beak to, I guess, mow down some grasses and plants. It's got really deep nostrils with some black paint, which is nice. And then, I don't know why, but there's some sort of black paint here. Don't know. And then you can see these eyes. These are, I guess, glass eyes. And you can see there's a black dot. Well, maybe you can't see. There's a black dot there. So the thing's looking upwards. But you can see the clarity of the marble or whatever they used. I guess it's not a marble because it's only half a sphere. I don't think it... Well, it would have been cool if they used full marbles and you could rotate the eyeball, but not the case. Alright, some really big scale separation up here on the top of the head, and you can see it's gray and blue, sky blue here, but then going back to some green on the spikes, and then this medium kind of blue back here. The base of these massive spikes are kind of like gray, then some green, and then a very light mint green again towards the end. So a lot of paint washes or airbrushing going on to make these things. So I think that's why they're so expensive. This one I think I got off of eBay. And if you can even, I don't know if you're even going to find it by the time this video posts, because I don't think they make too many of these things. There just aren't that many people willing to pay a lot of money for a cartoon dinosaur, I guess. But I'm kind of silly, so I am one of those people. I mean, look at these like round bumps. Like, I don't know if you would call those spikes, but they're so well painted, right? It's like, I think they painted the whole body this green first, and then they may have painted this blue around those spikes. But like, if I were to paint this myself, it would take so many hours. It would probably take 5 hours for me to try to paint this. So that's why I'm willing to pay the money for this, because I think it's cheaper for me to buy this than for me to paint something like this, right? But you can't buy this raw anyways, so you don't have a choice. Alright, well anyways, this is a solid chunk of resin. I'm sure the animal is separate from the geode, which is also separate from the skeleton, if you're curious how it's made. But that's how I think they get such good color separation between the dinosaur and the geode, and that piece as well. There might actually be more pieces, like the legs and stuff, and the head might be separate as well, but I think they go and putty them to make it look like a seamless thing. This dinosaur looks like one piece of plastic to me. I don't see any indication of some sort of breaks, not even in the jaw. A lot of the other ones, you can clearly tell the jaw is a separate piece. But this one, it literally looks like one chunk of plastic, and it's so well placed onto this geode, although I can see like a recess there. It's quite amazing, really. It's really impressive. So for now, since I'm never going to remember the name of these things, I put a little poster putty, and I'm going to put it onto this 50mm acrylic disc you can buy off AliExpress. And since it's clear, I can still see the dinosaur, but obviously it's a little ugly to look at. But it also shouldn't knock over as easily because it's a bigger base now. Alright, let's get this thing spinning and look at a couple other dinosaurs from this wave. So, Amargasaurus is this other herbivore with a double row of spikes. This looks like a dragon to me, right? It's really neat. And then, I I think Carnotorosaurus here is, no, this is not from this wave, sorry. Yeah, it's not from this wave. That's my first Dino Roll figure I reviewed. So gotta get a Predator out there. Yeah, just look at all the details of him. How the skin changes. This one's got some little round bumps on it. And then, like this one, these two have these stripes on them, which have borders. So possibly those are decals, maybe? And they look like decals on this one. But this one may have been spray painted matte, a matte finish, maybe. And then the glass eyes are kind of high quality. So, Carcharodontosaurus or something, if I didn't say that. It's a tough name to say. Alright, well, this is a really cool one, you know. I think most people gravitate towards the carnivores of dinosaurs, but I like this thing. I mean, even though it's a plant eater, it's like a tank, right? It looks like a spiked tank. It's really neat. And its eyes, you can see now, well, it's like looking kind of at us, right? Yeah. So I'll try to get these again. They just, you know, cost a lot of money. You can look on, you might be able to find a seller on AliExpress or eBay, but they're going to be pricey. But they're definitely unique, and if you look at it in the way that, how long would it take for you to paint this, that's how I justify it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time we roll on.